Hello and welcome to Monson Made This. My name is Michael and I cook vegan food, so if you are interested in that, definitely go ahead and click the subscribe button below and give this video a thumbs up while you're down there. Got a little tripped up there. Today I'm making another ramen hack video. Today I'm using this Ichiban ramen. This is the miso flavor, and reading the directions multiple times, it doesn't seem to have any animal ingredients, so I'm calling this vegan. If you can't find this, this is available normally at Asian grocery stores. The top ramen brand, soy sauce or chili flavors are also vegan, so you could use those for this as well. Or if you just had any other noodle, you could pretty much use that, although we are going to be using the seasoning packet. And I can't take any credit for this recipe whatsoever. One of the cool things about quarantine, if one can say cool things about quarantine, is that people are doing videos on Instagram or doing like live broadcasts on Instagram, and one that I saw recently was Danny Bowien from Mission Chinese Food with Alexander Wang, the fashion designer, and Danny showed Alexander how to make this ramen dish, which is a green tea ramen. I don't have any green tea today, so I'm pretty much doing everything that I saw him do on there, minus the green tea, and using the miso flavor, which I said is, from what I can tell, vegan. So I just opened up the packet and I found the seasoning packet, and let me give you my setup here. So I have a metal bowl, which is going to be used to make a ginger scallion sauce, which is pretty much just ginger, scallions, and oil with a little bit of the seasoning packet. I have here some olive oil. I have about a half cup. For the ginger scallion sauce, it's equal parts ginger and olive oil, and then half part of scallion. So we're going to be making a half batch from what I saw on Instagram. So it's a half cup of oil, half cup of diced ginger, which I'll cut up for you in just a second, and then a quarter cup of scallion or green onion. So I have a half cup of olive oil here, and I'm going to start that heating up now. And then back here, I have some water that's going to be for cooking the ramen, and I'm not going to start that just yet. So with the seasoning packet here, and because I can't take any credit for this recipe, I'll have a blog post about it talking about what I did, but I'm not taking any credit at all. I mean, I guess I could kind of lie because I'm making it quite different. I'm just using the ginger scallion sauce, which I saw him make, but then also the ramen. I'm gonna give him all the credit. I'm just playing with the ideas. So I put half the seasoning packet in this bowl. I'm going to take this big chunk of ginger here and cut it up. And on this live broadcast that he did, he showed how to cut up ginger nicely. He cut just a little bit off the bottom of the knob so that it doesn't move around, and then sliced it into really thin as he could, as thin as I can, as thin as you can, little slices, and just goes down the whole thing. And then we will shingle it out as opposed to like stacking it up. We'll kind of spread it out into a thin layer and then go and cut it into little matchsticks. And then we'll take those matchsticks and we'll have a fine dice. Okay, let's see what this gets us. Again, we only need about a half cup of this, and it's gonna make quite a bit. It's gonna make way more than what you'll need for this particular treatment, so you could cut it down even further if you wanted. If you don't like oil or you don't want to use oil, I'm not sure what else you could use, because essentially the sauce that we're making here is a oil-based sauce. So I guess you could just sprinkle fresh ginger and scallions on the top. In addition to the ginger scallion sauce that we're making, I'm also going to be adding some silken tofu. I think that'll be really great with this. I have some fresh cilantro, and then I bought a head of Napa cabbage the last time I was at the grocery store. So I've been kind of like picking the leaves off randomly and cooking them. So I have about 4 or 5 little Napa cabbage leaves here. Turn this pile of matchsticks. And the goal here is just to get everything as small as we can. I'm sure you could grate it if you wanted. You could probably use even pre-cut ginger if you wanted, but I found this to be fairly easy. So just cutting this, dicing it up. This is gonna go into the metal bowl, and once this oil is hot enough to make it sizzle, we'll add the oil to the bowl. And that's pretty much the sauce. I also have some little chilies. I'm gonna add those as well. And after seeing this Instagram story, I've been kind of obsessed with, I mean, I have to credit 3 I have 3 restaurant meals in my life that have kind of changed the way that I've seen food. Ben and I took a trip, I guess it's been a couple years now, to California, and we went up to San Francisco. My mom lives in a town not far from San Francisco. And so visiting her one time, Ben and I went into the city, and we ended up going to Mission Chinese Food and had like the most incredible meal there, and it like kind of changed my mind about Chinese food and Chinese flavors. And so I credit that meal with kind of changing how I see food. The same trip, also we went to Shaizen, which is a vegan sushi place. And that meal also completely changed my perspective of food. Which, side note, we just got a new vegan sushi restaurant in Las Vegas that literally opened up like 2 days ago. And I have heard that it's from the same people as Shaizen in San Francisco. So I'm very excited to try that. We tried to try it for Ben's birthday the other day, but we couldn't get through. So I'm not sure. I probably have even a little bit more than a half cup of the ginger, but that's in the bowl. I'm taking a scallion and I'm just running my knife through the white part. The third restaurant of these 3 is Donna Jean in San Diego. And that meal there just kind of showed me, all 3 of these restaurants just kind of showed me a different perspective of vegan food. They weren't using fake meats. They were using vegetables in a way that seemed really inventive. And you never missed the meat, but nothing was trying to be meat. And the flavors were strong. And it just really woke me up, because we went to a restaurant, smoking, I'm turning it off. We'd gone to a restaurant in LA about 2 nights before we went to Donna Jean. And we had a meal there that was kind of like vegan gastropub food. And it was just relied heavily on a lot of like seitan and fake meats and things like that. And we didn't love it. So it was nice to have our mind kind of changed of what you could do with vegetables. I have 3 little dried chili peppers that I found, and I'm putting these in the bowl as well. So this is super hot. It is smoking. When this goes in here, it is going to sizzle. I'm going to go a little bit slowly so that it doesn't overflow, and I want to just kind of stir it as it goes in. You hear that? Smells incredible. And you want that sizzle so it just lightly cooks the ginger and scallions. And probably can't get a good view of it here, but you basically want the oil to just come to the top of the ginger and scallions. Oh my God, incredible. All right, so this is done. This is going to set aside, and put it over here so I don't make a mess. That's gonna set aside, and that just is gonna hang out, marinate, and it's pretty much good to go at that point. I do have a little bit more ginger here. I'll deal with that later. Let's start cutting up our other veggies while I set this water to a boil. 2 cups, it's the amount that you need for ramen. As I saw in, the Instagram video, he took the water out of the second half of the seasoning packet in there and brings it up to a boil. So as I said, I'm gonna be adding Napa cabbage. I'm running my knife through the thick white part, and then I'm kind of thinly cutting through it. When I actually put this into the ramen while it cooks, I'm gonna be adding the stem, thicker white part first, about 2 minutes into the 3-minute cooking time, and then the last 30 seconds I'll add the more frilly part, just so that it doesn't overcook the frilly part, but that the stock part gets cooked well enough. All right, cilantro. I've been saving my cilantro like this with my green onions, just putting them in a little glass with some water. Because we can't use our own bags at the grocery store now, I have been getting these produce bags and just kind of tent it over. And I swear that it makes the cilantro and green onion last like a week. I don't know, it just feels like it's a lot fresher when I need it. I've also been kind of growing the ends of veggies. Romaine lettuce, I've been trying to regrow the stalks of a plant in my living room, which isn't living its best life right now. So I've been transplanting the regrown ends of romaine lettuce into that pot. And green onion too, you just put the white parts. If you just use the green, put the white parts in a little glass of water, leave it on the counter, and it starts to regrow the green part. I have to say there's been a couple dishes recently that I've actually just used the regrown stuff. So it's kind of nice to have that. Oh, I was gonna add some red pepper flake, but since I found the other chili peppers, that's fine. All right, so ramen is ready to go into this once it boils. Napa cabbage is ready, cilantro is ready. I have a block here of, this is the Nagari silken tofu, and I'm just gonna cut this package in half. I like this tofu a lot for soups and this kind of application. We're gonna be draining the liquid, so it's gonna be more of like a saucy noodle, but it'll be nice to have the tofu texture. Tofu is really cool in that it adds its own thing. If you use tofu trying to replicate meat, that's fine, you can do some great things, but if you kind of accept the role of tofu as something that doesn't have much flavor, that's kind of a cooling component, I think it opens up the doors for tofu a lot more. This isn't coming out of the package perfectly, but that's all right because I didn't want to cut it up into cubes. I kind of want it to be little craggy pieces. So that's fine and ready to go there. I also have some sesame seeds. I have some chili oil. There's a recipe on my channel for this. It's basically Sichuan chilies, some red pepper flakes, star anise, and I make it in the microwave, so I will have that linked below. Maybe I should have started that a little bit sooner because kind of out of things to do. But is anybody else watching? Actually, speaking of watching things on Instagram, I saw like the purest thing the other day. So in the mornings, I've been just watching like PBS style cooking shows, and I've been watching Martha Stewart every morning and been really loving it, but I hit a point where I was just kind of over it. Like it just wasn't hitting as it had the first few weeks of quarantine. So I started like watching live Instagram videos, and it's like, if nothing else has come out of this, it's that like there's some really cool like collaborations that I've seen. So it was Jonathan from Queer Eye, and it was on the Bon Appetit channel. So it was like Claire from Bon Appetit having dessert with Jonathan from Queer Eye. And it was just like the sweetest thing. They were both kind of like fangirling on each other. And Jonathan had a pavlova that somebody else had made for him. And Claire had made pas de choux swans. And it was just really cute to watch them chat and kind of just like when you see two people that really admire each other talking face to face, it was just really kind of cool. So my water has come up to as much of a boil as I'm willing to let it go right now. So as I said, this is going to cook for the 3 minutes that the package says. I love these. Ben loves these. We've actually been really upset that ramen has been difficult to find during this time because we could pretty much live off of packaged ramen. Maybe it's better that we don't have as much access because of how much we'd be eating. Ben loves the chili flavor. And so it's been out for so long, and I was able to find some, and I bought 12 packs, and I think that lasted us maybe like a couple of weeks. It's just such a perfect thing when you're hungry, nothing else really sounds good, just to kind of whip up a bowl of ramen. He's a microwave guy. You microwave, sorry, he's in the other room playing Animal Crossing still. You always microwave your ramen. He's not a microwave guy, he likes convenience. I'll give him that. I'm very particular about my ramen, as I mentioned in the last ramen video. I love to exactly measure 2 cups of water. I set the timer for exactly 3 minutes. And I just am very particular about it. Some people aren't that particular. I think it's like everyone has their own kind of way of doing ramen, which is great. It's kind of just a blank canvas. All right, so I'm able to break up the noodles a little bit in here. It's been going about 1.5 minutes. So in about 30 more seconds, I will add in the white part of my Napa cabbage. I'm gonna be using this bowl just because it's beautiful. And I'm not gonna be able to really do much of a taste test. I will give it a taste, but I do need to take photos of it to put on the website, to put on Instagram. So just trust me when I do taste it at the end that it is delicious, or not taste it at the end, I guess. All right, white part of the Napa cabbage is going in. If you like these quicker style videos, also comment below. Just trying to do things a little bit more casual. This is how I cook a lot of the time, just throwing things together, seeing what I have in my fridge, making it work. So I can easily just set up a camera like this for myself, bring out my little island here and my cutting board, and just casually make a dish and give you a little bit more of a slice of life conversational recipe video. All right, adding the last bit of Napa cabbage in here, just to lightly wilt it. You could even not add that. You could keep it as a little bit crunchy. It'll still have some good texture, but man, I don't know why I've been sleeping on Napa cabbage for so long. It's really been hitting the spot lately. Okay, bowl ready to go, accompaniments ready to go. Finishing touch of some sesame seeds, I think adds great flavor. My 3 minutes is up. So I'm gonna remove the noodles and the cabbage from the broth here. I think this Ichiban ramen actually absorbs quite a bit of liquid compared to top ramen. I've been finding that it leaves me with a lot less broth. So I might want to add a little bit of that later to loosen things up. So we have a beautiful dish here of noodles with some perfectly cooked Napa cabbage. And let's start decorating it. So I'm going to put just some chunks of tofu around. And this is still room temperature, but this dish is kind of like a room temp dish. If you wanted to use just like a firm tofu, you could, whatever your favorite tofu is. I really like this particular silken tofu. It's like a Japanese style of silken tofu. And we have our ginger scallion sauce. I've been feeling really chefy lately, and I've been keeping a little container of large serving spoons. Easy hand, or really handy next to the stove. So I'm gonna just kind of drizzle this around. You wanna get both the oil as well as the ginger scallion sauce. Being quite generous. All right. Let's do some cilantro. Oh my gosh, it smells incredible in here. A little bit of chili oil. This is both for color and flavor. And I love with the Sichuan peppercorns, it has just a slight numminess. Just drizzle it over. This is pretty spicy. This would be good with some sriracha or sambal. Oh, there's one more ingredient I forgot, it's still in my fridge. Beautiful. One last thing. Hoisin sauce. I'm just gonna do the slightest little drizzle. Sesame seeds. And here we have the Mission Chinese inspired, jazzed up ginger scallion sauce tofu ramen. Smells incredible. You guys can see that. Ooh, glamour shot. So this is going to be photographed. If you do want to see me eat this, why don't you go over to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/monsonmadethis. And there's a link below. You can watch all of my Monson Ate This videos, which are the after show of my cooking videos. It's where I eat and chat and just a little bit more casual conversational style videos. It's a lot like this video, but with eating instead of cooking. So thank you for watching. Again, if you want more videos like this, please comment below and let me know. I've had a blast doing this. I love this setup. It's really fun for me, so I hope you guys like it as well. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time with a brand new recipe video, and you guys stay safe in there. Bye.